Hello and welcome to Clarke Farms. We're back with another episode of the Clarke Farms map by MRG Mapping. And we've got just a little bit of soybeans left to plant over here in this field. We did a handful of rounds off camera since last episode, but really didn't do a whole lot. So we're going to go ahead and just jump back in here. I'm hoping we've got enough seed to finish this. Let me just get my GPS turned on here, and away we go. We've got, like 17% left in the hoppers here for our soybeans. I'm thinking that's going to be more than enough to finish off this corner. We've got maybe 3-4 passes left here. And then we've got that really big field across the way here. If I bring up the map, field 2 is pretty massive. So I'm not sure what our best option is going to be for planting that. We might try to bust out Courseplay for the first time in this series and kind of see how that's going to work for us. I do have the tractor sounds cranked up a little bit louder here again today. And so we're going to see how this works in editing. If it turns out that this is too loud after this episode, we'll make some more adjustments. But I know several people indicated that they really like the tractor sounds on these case tractors from C&H Modding. So we're going to keep running with it. And yeah, we're making good progress on this map. I think we might need to buy some more seed to plant our cornfield, though, given that we've got just 2 half pallets left here, not even a half pallet probably. So once we're done here, we'll fill this planter back up and get switched over to corn and see how far we can get. I'm hoping we don't need to spend too much more money this spring because the loans are going to really eat into our profit margin if we have to take out too much more money from a loan perspective this early in the year. We're trying to hopefully get through the end of this year without too much debt because with the way Seasons works, we're paying interest on our loans every day in Seasons. And so the earlier in the year I have to take out money for seed and such, the more interest we're going to be paying before we've got some crop to sell off and get back out of that debt. And I've just realized I had my computer sound set up a little bit awkward, so apologies for the pause there. We're just getting everything lined back up. We also will need to start thinking about when we can do grass work. We don't have a field per se for grass, but we do have some areas that we could go and cut in the short term. For example, this entire section up here is all grass, so we can definitely mow a good portion of that grass. I think only half of it is technically the cow pasture. I think the back half is just an open field, likely somewhere that you would move the cows to. Typically you've got a couple different pastures so that once they eat the grass down in a certain area, you can move them out into a different part of the pasture and kind of separate them between the different areas and let the ground recover. But I'm not sure we have that capability on this map. So we may just end up mowing one of those 2 sections to get our starting hay that we need to be able to have cows on this map. I haven't decided if we're going to do dairy or just beef cows. We'll have to think that through here. I actually don't know what they run on the actual farm. I know that there is a milking setup in one of those lean-tos there, so we can definitely run dairy if we want. I'm just not sure what the real life setup is in this scenario. I'm gonna plant here. We're taking advantage of our GPS a little bit, kind of crooked rows there. It's going to be frustrating when we get to combining if this was real life. We'll try to line up a little bit more sanely on this pass here. I guess they are beans, so it's not so big of a deal. If that was corn, that would definitely have been a bit of a pain to harvest. And then we're just gonna put these in here, finish off this corner, and that's a wrap on our soybeans. So I think what we'll do is we're gonna fold this up and bring it up into the yard. So let's get this lifted up here, see how this spin works. This is fascinating. I've never seen a planter like this. I'm going to have to go watch some videos for how this works in real life. The animation's pretty cool here, though. They've got all the different arms and stuff on it. So it's definitely a cool planter. I want to get the slightly larger version. I think we'll, at some point here, as we have the money, upgrade to maybe a 16 row. And then I can upgrade the combine head to an 8 row. Or I could stick with this and then upgrade the combine to a 12 row head, maybe. Things to think about. I keep going back and forth on that in my mind and forgetting that this is probably a conversation I've had in other videos. Let's go grab the New Holland here with our seed pallet on it. One of these days I may actually have to look into the what's it called, Real Seeds mod or something like that, where your pallets of seed are actually restricted to whatever type of seed they are, and then you have to empty the seeder out and switch the seed. That would be a very interesting, realistic addition. Make you think about how much you're buying ahead of time and stuff like that. So we may have to look into that here at some point. We're gonna do this. Is there no way to fill the seed remotely? Like, it knows the seed is there. It'd be great if I could push a button to fill that without getting into the other tractor. So that's this seed. Let's go grab the other pallet real quick and fill that up, and then I think we'll buy one more. Should we buy one more thing of fertilizer, or should we just go with what we have? Maybe we'll start with what we have, because we're going to need more seed before we need more fertilizer anyway. And we'll take stock of where we're at that point in time and get both of what we need. Just make sure we're not crashing into anything here. I do really like this open cab New Holland. This is a nice little utility tractor. And we're loading up the seed. Okay, we are full on seed, actually. I forgot that the seed bins don't hold an awfully lot. And so we're going to go ahead with this, and then we'll bring that pallet over here to the end rows at some point to fill up when we need to. So as I mentioned, I think we're going to try and use Courseplay. Now this has the telephone pole islands running through the middle of this field, and I know Courseplay can handle that, assuming that they're drawn on correctly. So I'm going to do 2 headland passes, and we're going to start working on the headlands. Yeah, that probably makes sense. We are planting. I'm going to get rid of our overlap and our corners. I'm going to try and use turn. I can't remember the appropriate way to do that. One of them works better for combines, I think, and one works better for the planter. Now this has me going like this. This is actually probably how I would plant the field. I remember when we talked about field 1, I was mentioning I'd probably have followed the road more and done the long rows at just a little bit more of an angle rather than perfectly east and west. And so I think I'm going to do that here. This kind of follows the road angle here a little bit better, so we'll do that. In reality, I probably would actually maybe plant this north and south along field 4 maybe. But we're gonna do it like this. Courseplay tends to like doing things the way Courseplay tends to like doing them, so oops, I hit the unfold button while I'm driving around here. I probably would not be driving around while this thing is unfolding itself. I have to imagine it's not very strong when it's up on just that pillar, not latched into anything, so definitely don't want to break the planter here. And we're going to set this up to drive course, first waypoint, go. We're gonna drop that down here. And I'll be super curious to see how this thing does when it gets down to the first corner here. And so we're gonna let this keep going. Ooh, man. We apparently don't have any windows because they're so dirty in here. This is, probably not, I love that the seat is super shiny clean. Yeah, I would think that you probably wouldn't have a interior of your tractor quite this dirty. So, yeah, our seat and the 2 pedals there on the right are super clean. Everything else is completely dirty. Fascinating. So I'm really curious to see how we're going to handle this first corner. Once we get around this first corner, I think I'm going to jump back over and move our utility tractor over here to the corner of the field. I think I left it running, actually. I'm trying to remember. I'm probably far enough away from it at this point that FarmSim shut it back off, but I do have a tendency to forget to shut off vehicles. Alright, so here we go. Oh, it's handling that corner perfectly. That is a perfectly angled Courseplay corner right there. I like it. So this guy is going to town here. We got an hour and 20 minutes of planting to do in this field, and that doesn't count time to turn around because Courseplay pauses the clock when it's turning around on ed rows. So once we actually get going on the rows, it's going to take a little bit longer to do this field. So we're not probably going to do 100% of this field on camera, or if we do, we're going to be time-lapsing it a little bit. Now, this was something I was curious about. So this planter does flex with the ground, it looks like. So those bars, I'm trying to get a good view of it here. There is some ability to flex between the sections, it looks like. So that is very cool. And so that's a good thing for the type of ground that we have. It's very hilly, and you know, there's like here where we've got, you know, we're on the crown of the hill versus we were in the valley back there a little bit. So having sections that are going to flex with the ground a little bit is going to make this go a little bit easier, I think. And that is an acceptable corner pass there. Realistically, for headlands, you'd probably back up and have a square corner. I don't know. Maybe I'd do it this way. Most of the fields that we had in Minnesota, the roads are very square. Everything's in kind of a grid pattern where we were at, so we always planted our rows kind of right along the long length of a road. There was always some, you know, major road, it felt like, that went alongside our fields. So these kind of curvy fields and curvy roads are not something that was super common in our area. And so I'm kind of learning how best to plant some of these things. This tractor really champs it out though. We're not having any problems pulling this planter, which is good. I was not expecting any problems, but it's always nice to see things kind of come together and work pretty well. Got a dead tree in the ditch there. I'm kind of curious if that's something I would be able to cut up if I brought a chainsaw out here, or if it's just decoration. Alright, so we know this is working out pretty well here, so I think what we're going to do is cut into a little bit of a time lapse and see about getting some of this field done, and then once the seed is a little bit lower here, we'll pause and we'll get things filled back up in this planter to finish out the field. So we'll check back in as we make it a little bit further around these headlands. Well, I guess that answers the question as to whether or not Courseplay is set up to go around these telephone poles. I think I actually forgot to check the box when I generated the course for that. So we are just going to skip around that and tell it to start back up here. No big deal. And actually, the way that we're doing this, we're only going to run into one more of those, so we should be in a pretty good spot to get around this. So I'm going to watch this for one more pass here, and then I think we need to jump out and grab that tractor with the seed, because we are going to be running low on seed here any minute now. Just waiting for this guy to get flipped around here. We ended up perfectly in this corner. I was not expecting it to line up quite so well. Now that we're on these straight passes, this tractor, the 7100, does not turn very sharp. And so I was having a problem when I was doing this with GPS as well. Like, it's just almost impossible to get this tractor to turn around and jump back into the same 12 rows. So a little bit surprised at how wide the turning radius is on these 7100 series tractors. Something to consider in the future in that ongoing mental debate that I'm having with myself about whether I should be using the 12 row or the 16 row variant of this planter. We may want to upgrade to the full 16 rows. It's just the trade-off when you get into doing bean or corn harvesting, whether or not you want to use the 8 row or the 12 row head to harvest. I'll be curious to see how easy it is to keep up with a 6-row head. I've never run a 6-row head. Oh, I guess that's not true on the Westby series. We're running a 6-row head, I think, right now. And so, yeah, we've got to help this guy through one more pass. We're going to crash into the telephone pole on the way back up here as well. And then once we get that resolved, we'll be good to let the worker keep going while we haul some seed out here to the field. Now, I don't know if Courseplay is going to be able to figure out how to get out of this little bit of an awkward spot of the field here. Let's find out, I guess. It's not so bad, I guess. I was worried he was going to end up going into the drink there, so it looks like he's going to figure it out. Good deal. Sometimes the automation is smarter than you give it credit for. So I'm going to get this up and ready to go, though, so sometimes it's as dumb as you expect it to be, so we don't want to actually crash into the telephone pole this time. We're going to swing around like so, swing back around like so, and kick him back off on Courseplay, and be good to go. Alright. So while he does that with his last few bushels of beans, we're going to go get some more. We really don't have that many bags of seed left here. So we're going to have to start thinking about getting another pallet of fertilizer and another pallet of seed here soon. I think what I'll do is drop this pallet here. And then we're going to go buy another pallet of fertilizer real quick. In fact, let's just do that. Big bags of dry fertilizer. And then we're going to buy one more pallet of seed if we can afford it. Oh, I didn't buy the fertilizer just now because I couldn't afford it. Haha. I'm like, I still have the same amount of money. Well, that's interesting. All right, well, let's see how long our fertilizer lasts, because that's going down a lot slower than the seed. And we'll bring this pallet of seed out here as well. And if we need to buy some more fertilizer, we'll take out another loan. A few of you have pointed out that there's a mod that'll tell me how low and level my forks are, I believe on the mod hub. I haven't had a chance to go find that yet, but it is on my to-do list of things that I would like to be able to use so that I could do a little bit more in-cab driving. I'm going to leave this tractor back away from that other seed just a little bit so that I can load the planter from this leftover pallet before we start in on the new pallet. But we didn't quite make it back, and I'm pretty sure that's the seed that we ran out of. So we're gonna just go ahead. Yep, seed is out. So we're gonna stop the driver, and we're just gonna drive the planter over here since we're so close, and fill it up that way. And then we'll run back down here and get started on our course. We might as well just grab all the seed while we're here. There we go. We're all filled up. And we'll just run it down here and get started again. We got 25% of our fertilizer left, which we started at 100%, I think. 99% maybe, if I remember correctly. So we've done the headlands and these passes and that whole other field with that. So I'm thinking we're going to be in a pretty good spot. We probably won't finish with the fertilizer we got, but we're going to be close. Let me go ahead and start Courseplay back off here, and we'll take a quick look at the map. And so we forgot to change our seed type over. Oh my goodness, we're planting soybeans everywhere. Oh no. Oh no. No corn this year. We've planted way too much to switch now. Oh goodness. That is a terrible mistake on my part. Boy. Well, these things happen, I suppose. Oh, I really wanted this to be corn. I wonder if I can change the crop type, even though we're using seasons, and fix this after the fact. If I do it early enough, it might not be a problem. I just don't know. I just don't know. Because we have the easy development tools here. So if I change it, it's going to try and set all of those properties, which is just a little awkward at times. My goodness. It's always something. Well, let's put these forks back down. I don't want to leave this pallet up in the air. And then we're just going to keep planting as is, and I'll look at this off camera and see if I can figure out how to change these from soybeans back into corn after we're done planting, because that is really disappointing on my part. I was really expecting that I hit the button and this was corn now. We even talked about it when we were switching fields, and I've completely forgotten. Love these hills. Wow, that is really steep. So with that horrible, depressing news, we are going to wrap up this episode here. We're at about time, and this will be a good spot for me to transition. I will try to figure out this corn versus soybeans thing off camera here, and hopefully have that sorted before next episode. And yeah, we've got to finish planting this huge field next time. That's all for today. Ketterk out.